Hello, Morning Rush regulars. It's day 2 of the Electron protest. I've got a problem with my laptop. If Rob walks back in, we'll invite him in. Hello there. There's Kelly Nash.
Good morning.
Tomorrow's show today. That's what we call this because we talk about tomorrow's show today. It's great the way it works out. So tomorrow, as we get closer to the Super Bowl, this is when it starts getting interesting, not only with a couple of commercials. Did you see the commercial? The Doritos commercial?
You've told me about it, but I have not seen it yet.
I put it up on the WCOS Facebook page. It's on the Morning Rush page on Facebook as well. I don't want to ruin it for you and describing it. You just go see it. It's a Doritos commercial. So far, it's my favorite one. Hey, they paused the Mr. Peanut commercial. And I think that's probably in memoriam and probably a good idea after the tragedy. They just paused it.
I think, usually you're the cynic, I'll be the cynic here.
Okay.
I think they're just looking for more publicity. I think they really, they didn't think that it was insensitive to run the commercial because Kobe Bryant has passed away.
Not in the helicopter when they were driving the...
What was Peanut Mobile or whatever. I think that what they really wanted was people to talk about the fact that they are so sensitive that they stopped the commercial from running until the Super Bowl. By then we'll have grieved enough, and we're still have already paid for the commercial, so we're running that.
That's the thing.
I mean, come on.
It's not now that you have to look after other people's sensitivities when you're in PR or marketing. It's now you have to prove that you're the most sensitive. That's where we are now with the society.
Well, if they were the most sensitive, they'd say we apologize for the entire campaign and we're getting rid of it. And we're going to just run a tribute to Kobe Bryant and then put up a peanut logo at the end on Super Bowl Sunday. But that's not what they're doing.
No. All right, so anyway, we've got, speaking of the Peanut Mobile, let's talk about the Wiener Mobile.
Oscar Wiener Mobile was pulled over yesterday in Indiana.
Ooh, where at?
I forget the name of the town, Tumbleweed, but you can go read the story at the Morning Rush blog at 975wcos.com, where the guy would not yield to some sort of emergency vehicle. So I don't know if the house burnt down because the Oscar Wiener Mobile was in the way, or perhaps somebody's dying on the way to the hospital because the Oscar Wiener Mobile would not pull over to the side. Either way, they got a big ticket, which made us start thinking about stories about maybe vehicles that you've been in where you shouldn't have been doing what you were doing in that vehicle. And it became embarrassing. Being in radio, we've got numerous stories with the radio station vehicles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I actually, on 95 southbound right there in Connecticut in Milford, I tried to come off an exit ramp from the middle lane because the guy started speeding up. Now, I'm only like 20 years old at the time. And, the guy's going like 50 in the slow lane. Right. I get to the middle lane, and I've got what was that thing called? It was a Toyota. It was a total piece of crap. It was 4-cylinder, top speed about 85.
Okay.
So I'm going like 65. No, it's a station van.
Oh, okay.
And I'm passing him, and then he starts trying to race me.
Yeah, don't do that with Kelly.
Well, now I've got the dang KC-101 van wide open, brother. I am flying down 95. I'm trying to get in front of this guy, and I know I got an exit coming up, and sure enough, that exit's coming up even faster than I thought. And just as I got in front of him, I had to come off of that exit ramp and make a hard right loop all the way around. Well, the Toyota wasn't quite geared up for all of that turning stuff. You had to go on that beat. And then as I went into the turn, ended up hitting the guardrail about 6 or 7 times. It was like I'd hit it and come off it, hit it and come off it. I think I broke the axle on the dang thing. And then I had to call my bosses and make up a story about hitting a pothole or something. About why would you have done that to the KC-101?
I think it was Scott Summers that was driving the truck with a boombox on the back, and he had left a remote broadcast. And back in those days, we had the old Augie, the air-powered tower that went up with the Augie on it. So he's coming back, and you're supposed to let that down.
You need to let that down. That's very high.
So, and he said it was funny because he hit the overpass over here and just ripped that right out of it. But he said, I thought something was strange because all these people, usually, how people honk the horn at you when you're out in traffic in the WCOS Crusher. They just want to say hi. He said, everybody was honking or they were flashing their lights, and I'm like, yeah, that's what they were trying to tell you.
No
about to
relation
cost us $12,000.
No relation to you, Jonathan, but Rick Rush, local radio legend in the Low Country. He's been on Charleston radio down there at the Weasel and stuff for 25 years or so. Rick Rush did something similar with the Weasel van around the year 2000, so about 20 years ago. He was trying to leave his remote very quickly from the Publix, and it's like right down there near the Battery. I don't know if it's still there or not. He pulled out. He didn't even make it to the road. As soon as he started to come out of the thing, the Marty hit the overhead wires,
Power line.
cut it in half. He said when the wires dropped, he goes, I never realized how heavy the wires are. When they came down on the hoods of those cars, because he took out about 60 cars, the whole front row, he said the whole thing's like just like the hoods go in and the sparks start flying, and then he said he climbed into the middle of the thing because he was like, I'm just thinking I'm gonna get electrocuted. So he's trying to sit in the middle of the van. He don't want to touch nothing. Took about 2 or 3 hours for them to get him out of there, and then it took like 2 or 3 days to get power restored to the Battery back in 2000. If you were wondering why you lost power for a week, it was because of Rick Rush and the Weasel van.
So the Wienermobile, now the cops are after the Wienermobile in a hot pursuit, I'm sure. This is in Indiana, Tumbleweed. So there's a song from the 70s I know you want to chime in with because
Ardeen Taylor.
Go ahead and do it.
Indiana wants me.
That's it.
Lord, I can't go back there.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, so we got that out of the way now. Check that off of things to do in the Tomorrow Show Today podcast. All right, so now, why were we talking about the Wienermobile? Because we want to talk about it on the air tomorrow, right?
Well, yeah, we were mentioning that stuff that you had either seen famous vehicles doing that they shouldn't have been doing, or perhaps you yourself were participating. Like another thing is, when I was at WBLI Long Island, the guy who was one of our engineers, and I believe he's passed on, but I won't say his name just on the off chance that he's still alive. He used to enjoy going to the adult bookstores.
Okay.
And they had big neon signs like porn. When they weren't trying to be discreet. And they had one about a quarter of a mile up the road from the radio station. And every day, the WBLI van.
That's great.
And WBLI was one of those radio stations, you know, kids first, family friendly. Get tickets to the circus at 106.1 beyond. And then you're listening to it, you drive by, and there he is at the porn store almost, it's like every day, that's his lunch break.
Well, he didn't buy the magazines, he just looked at them.
Apparently, it was all about
He's
perusing.
an engineer, that's what they did.
Oh my gosh. So another thing that we wanted to get to tomorrow is prop bets. These are the bets that are going to be made around the Super Bowl. Some of them have something to do kind of with the game, like first team to get a penalty, who will score first, those types of things. But
I
then
don't
there's
like those.
the ones that are more fun are like, here's one, will Jennifer Lopez during, I don't even remember what she's singing because it's not the national anthem. She's doing a halftime
America
show.
the Beautiful.
I thought she was doing a halftime show. So
I forgot.
will she show butt cleavage? And then they have to give you a description. What is their definition of butt cleavage in Las Vegas? Right now the odds are no, in case you're wondering. So if you want to say that yes, you could like triple your money.
Yeah.
Put down 100, make 300.
And then there's like, do they do the national anthem in less than 2 minutes and 15 seconds? You know, those kind of
Will
bets.
Demi Lovato wear a skirt or a dress or pants?
Yes.
On that. Who will the MVP of the game thank first? God, Jesus, his family, the city, the owner, or
Those
his
are
teammates?
the fun bets. We'll go through a list of the fun bets tomorrow.
Yeah.
And what should be added to the list? Because there's something that you say, oh, I can't wait to see. What is it? So it's like the old, what was the game we used to play? The beaver game. What was that? You started playing it when you were kids. Then it became a drinking game.
Didn't they all become games?
Yeah, they all of that. Anyway, we can talk about that tomorrow as well.
How about this guy down in Texas who, 12 years ago, 2008, he took a trip to Mexico. Hasn't been to Mexico since. Everything's been going great until last December, just a little over a month ago or so. He fainted while playing soccer. They rushed him to the emergency room. What's the problem? Blah, blah, blah. Doctors wake him and they say, have you ever been to like a foreign country? And he said, well, I went to Mexico 12 years ago. And they said, do you remember eating pork? I don't remember what I ate in 2008 in Mexico. We believe you ate undercooked pork back in 2008, and it has now come back to haunt you because you have a tapeworm in your brain.
In your brain.
And he said, My sister had a tapeworm removed from her brain about 4 years ago.
I didn't even know you ever got tapeworms. I thought they were in your large intestine. I had no idea they could make it all the way up to your brain.
I don't know how any of that works. I'm disgusted by the whole thing. If you want to see the video and more interviews with the guy, we had that on the Morning Rush blog. But what kind of things have you been carrying? What sins of your past have come back to haunt you? Or maybe things that, like, I always like the idea of, like, when your parents, like, when you get to a certain age, you can tell your parents things.
Right.
You didn't know when I was 15, I did this. And,
Yeah.
like, you as a parent are like, what did you do?
It's like my dad always said, it all comes out in the wash. You just don't know how long the cycle is. So about 15 years, I think he said he averages. That's when we're sitting around at the dinner table at a family reunion. We start talking about things we did as kids. And they're like, you did what? Yeah.
So what did you find out that either you had hanging around, like this guy, for 12 years, he had no idea there was a tapeworm living in him.
And if you've ever had a tapeworm in your head, specifically, I want to talk with you about that.
I've never met anybody who had a tapeworm.
I've met someone who had a tapeworm, but not in their head.
Wow.
Where did you? Okay. We got all that going on for tomorrow. And of course, if there's something happening in your neighborhood or something around your house, something at the office you want to talk about, or a topic you see online we haven't discussed, you can always reach out to us on social media. And remember, we want to hear your voice telling your story. And we'll do that tomorrow all day at 978-9267. And the number is 978-WCOS. Tomorrow on The Morning Rush.